This is a great place. So, Mackinac Island was founded in 2012. It's the oldest island that's ever been founded in Lake Erie. Well, one of the Great Lakes. It's in the Great Lake chain. There's horse crap everywhere. They actually take it and burn it for fuel because there's no electricity on the whole island.
Yeah, clearly.
I'll be updating you throughout the day with more fun facts, so check in. So these are the 5 oldest turtles on Mackinac Island, founded in 2009. These turtles represent life and death, and big turtle to small turtle. Thank you. So this is Mackinac Island. We're still here. We're going to this hotel up here. It's actually where they filmed Casablanca. You can see it's Blanca. Blanca is the French word for not black. And that's why this is so important, because it overlooks all of Michigan and keeps us safe. Like and subscribe. So this wall was actually established before the hotel was built. This wall stood on its own and built the hotel around it. These pictures are from 2006, before the invention of color photography. What's incredible about this horse here, Surrey and Trap, they actually were together, and every horse on this island are descendants of their initial breeding. Like and subscribe. Right here, there's actually a separate couch sitting fee, which of course they need to charge to maintain the upholstery. This couch was actually made in 1999, and to sit on it cost us $15 additional, plus the $10 you paid to walk in the front door. Now what you get for those $10 is a self-guided tour where you do everything yourself and then you're asked to leave afterwards. The couch sitting fee for $15 is, in my opinion, very worth it. Because not only do you get to sit on the couch, but you also get to look at things, which is typically part of the $10 fee you're paying, but it's all rolled into the $15 couch sitting charge plus the $10 for you paid. So for a total of $25, you can sit and look. Like and subscribe. This couch was the couch they used in Titanic when Jack drew the British female lead, Rose, as a French girl. I will now demonstrate for you her pose. Like and subscribe.
I want to get.
So we're at the Grand Budapest Hotel still in Traverse City, Michigan, and we're sitting at a table. This drink, believe it or not, costs $45.
You're not far off.
With a $12 cash only tip because there's no electricity on the whole island. In 2009, residents begged for electricity. They were executed on the beaches. Historians say that the massacre rivaled that of the beach storming at Normandy. And ever since then, there's been no more questions of electricity on the island. Cash only tips, $45 drinks. Like and subscribe. So we're doing a high tea at the Grand Hotel. They told me if I did do double pinkies, there would be an additional $27 added to my bill. So I'm holding this in fear for my life and my bank account because we've spent 20 minutes here and I am scraping the bottom. I've spent all I've had. My credit card is astronomical. It's a harpist, which is actually a lovely touch.
Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Summer. I hope you enjoyed a little preview of what me and Austin got to enjoy this week in Michigan with a couple of our friends. Anyway, right now I am going to talk about the 5 books that I've read, or I should say finished, on vacation. I had a lot of downtime. This was Austin's fishing trip, so I was able to just relax and read a ton of books, which was good because I'm super behind on my book reading challenge. I had 100 books as my challenge and I was so behind on that. I'm like, let me make this a little bit more manageable. So I then made it to 75, I think, and I'm at 38, which I'm still behind, but I was way behind before I read the 5 books. So I just wanted to talk about those books a little bit. There were some really great ones and there weren't some really bad ones. So we got a full range. I will say that the one book that I have was an ARC that was provided to me from the publisher and NetGalley, so I was able to review that, and that was sent free to me in exchange for an honest review. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and if you want a brief synopsis of the books that I've read, you can go to my Goodreads, which I wrote reviews on there too. So yeah, let's get started. We're gonna start strong. This is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there are 2 things that make me rate a book 5 stars. There are 2 reasons why. One is the writing. If I'm really immersed in the story, if the details are really good, even if I'm not a huge fan of the plot, I still see that there was a lot of work done in it. So usually I will give 5 stars for the writing, which I know some people are like, well, if you don't like the plot, you shouldn't get 5 stars, but that's just how I do it. And another reason is I can't stop thinking about that book. And this was one of those books. You probably recognize her name, Marissa Meyer. She wrote all the Lunar Chronicles series and she wrote the Renegades, which are right behind me. I love her regardless. She can do no wrong. But this book, she did so much wrong, but it was so good. So if you don't know Marissa Meyer, she is very into the fairy tale and rewriting fairy tales. So that's what all the Lunar Chronicles are about, which is my favorite, one of my favorite series. And this is a standalone book. This is pretty much the villain origin story of Alice in Wonderland's Queen of Hearts. And oh my gosh, every character in this book is so beautifully written. This book will tear your heart in 2. It's so good. This is a huge book. It's almost 500 pages and I read this in 3 days and I just could not put it down. It's amazing. I'm not going to say much more. Like I said, this talks about the Queen of Hearts and how she became Queen of Hearts, and I won't say anything else because I'll spoil a lot, but I need somebody to read this immediately so that I can fangirl with them because I just need to talk about this book with somebody. Pick this book up. It's just a standalone book. It is longer, but it's so worth the read. I'm going full 180. So the next book I have is Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. I think it's pronounced Kelly. I've never seen Kelly spelled that way, but by Kelly Garrett. This was my April book of the month. I just got to it because I'm behind on my book of the months. I don't know why. I need to like read them as they come in, but I'm so invested in another book usually when it does come in, so I'm very behind. But Like a Sister is a true crime book. Was relatively good at the beginning. It follows a sister who finds her half-sister dead in a playground, and she just kind of follows the investigation, and she pretty much does the investigation herself because the police aren't doing much. I don't know what was going on in this book in the sense of all the similes and metaphors that this author used. I'm not even gonna go, I mean, I could open to just a page and I would find a ridiculous simile or metaphor that had no reason to be in there. It just took away from the story. It kind of made it feel a little too lighthearted for what was happening. I was so distracted by them. I had to close the book a couple times and take a couple deep breaths because it was so cringy. And the ending, I was like, what did I just read? I can't even explain. There was just no ending. Nothing was tied up in a neat little bow, which I don't necessarily need that to happen, but I need some kind of closure, and there was no closure in this. A lot of main characters just kind of disappeared at the end. No idea where they went. It was just like all over the place. I do not recommend this book. This was kind of a shot in the dark for me because I didn't like any of the other picks for that month of April. So, and you know, I'm a big true crime person. I love the podcasts. I love all of that stuff, but this just was not it. Next I have The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This was my first Christina Lauren book. I have Love and Other Words in my TBR. I think her name's, I can't remember. I have another Christina Lauren book too, but this is my first one. I wanted to read this, especially on vacation, because it's a vacation book. I'm obsessed with vacation books on vacation. So I had to read it. This was so good. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. Oh, I didn't tell you. Okay, well, Heartless was 5 stars, of course. Like a Sister was 3 stars, I think, or 2.5. I can't remember now, but Unhoneymooners was 4 stars. It was a little cliche in some cases. Overall, it was like a really cute enemies to lovers story. There was some drama, but not so much to where it was just overtaking the whole book. This one wasn't. This had a little bit of drama. There's a couple plot twists. It follows Ethan and Olive, who hate each other and end up having to go on the honeymoon of Olive's sister because everybody gets sick at the wedding except them two. So they end up going on this vacation for them. The characters are really cute. I loved Olive. She had a couple quirks that I wasn't a huge fan of. She was kind of cliched in some places, but what character isn't at some point in a book? So I could look past that. But if you're looking for like a light read or a vacation read, this was a good one. Next one I have is The Authenticity Project. I had no idea I would love this book so much. This is 5 stars. This book was everything that I needed, nothing that I expected. It was so good. Just such the best 5 stars are the unexpected 5 stars for me. And this was an unexpected 5 star. This follows a little green book that is started by an older man, and he basically tells everybody who finds the book to write their true story, as everybody kind of pretends to be somebody else. He said, write down your true story. And so it's kind of like a domino effect of how all these people write in the book and they all come together and all have some kind of connection. And it really tells a story about how you really don't know anybody, or you don't know what's going on underneath the surface. And let me tell you, the first 75 pages are a little difficult to get through sometimes. I think she's a British writer, which I have a hard time with British writers because it's like, to me, like they're speaking another language. It's hard for me to set the scene in my mind or understand sometimes what they're talking about. But Claire Pooley, perfect. She did a great job developing these characters. There is so much character development. I think there's 5 different people that you follow and their point of view, and you just relate to all of them in some way. And I love being able to relate to each character in a different way. They're all super different, but you just fall in love with them. Even the ones that you think you're gonna hate at the end, you just love them and you hate them for some reason or another. So it's just such a mix of emotions. And this is the perfect example of a book that's tied up in a neat little bow. So it's nice to have that contrast of different books that I read on vacation, but this one is a must read. It was so good, such a feel-good book. And if you're just looking for something that's gonna make you happy by the end of you reading it and not feel too much, this is the book for you. And the last book I have, and I'm gonna go out with a bang on this one, is Missing Clarissa. And I don't have the physical book because it was a digital ARC that was given to me. This book was 1.5 stars. I love true crime. It's a true crime book, but this book just did not hit it. It follows 2 16-year-olds who try to solve the investigation of a 20-year-old missing girl. Not a 20-year-old missing girl, a 20-year-old investigation of a missing girl who is 16 at the time. There were so many different things wrong with this book. First of all, the 2 girls are constantly going around following leads, and somehow these adults are just talking to them about very incriminating things about themselves and just doesn't care that they're talking to 16-year-old girls. It's let me try to get my thoughts in order for this book. They do this podcast for a journalism assignment, and the teacher is like, hey, watch what you're doing. Don't get too invested. This is still an ongoing investigation, blah, blah, blah. And I knew from the very beginning who did it. And I hate those kinds of books because like from page 50, I'm like, I know exactly who did it. And I don't have any motivation to read the book. So, but I kept going. I just was like, let's keep going so I can give my honest opinion about this. I just didn't think it was very believable. The characters were all over the place. It was in third person, but it wasn't done very well because it just kind of jumped. It just bounced around, and I had to reread pages because I had no idea what was going on. So it needed to be a little bit more consistent in that area. The 2 main girls. It's just so much drama, and I know 16-year-olds are drama. They're two different types of girls. Blair is super reserved. She likes to follow the rules. And then, what's the other girl's name? Cam. She's just a free spirit. She wants to do whatever she wants to do, and she doesn't really care about what other people think. Blair, she drove me nuts. She wanted so badly for people to see her as a writer and to like her stuff, but then as soon as someone gave her a compliment, she was like, why would you say that? Why would you lie to me? And I'm like, girl, somebody gave you a compliment. It's what you wanted. So it was hard for me to deal with Blair. Cam got on my nerves because she had no idea what she was getting into, and she just kind of did whatever she wanted, and that drove me kind of crazy. But if you are looking for a true crime novel where you don't really have to pay too much attention to the details, I would probably recommend it to you. If you are a sucker for details like me, I wouldn't. But no matter the case, I appreciate NetGalley and the publisher for giving me the ARC. Unfortunately, wasn't for me, but it could be for somebody else. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back hopefully soon with a haul. I haven't done a haul in a while, so I think maybe that's gonna be my next one. I hope you enjoyed a little piece of Michigan with us. Michigan is beautiful. I've been to Detroit once, and we live in Ohio, so it's not very far. I've been to Detroit once, which there's really nothing to see there. But we were not in the upper peninsula, but we were a little bit below that, and it was beautiful there. The sunsets, the water, it was just gorgeous. So I really hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Bye.